they've certainly not lost that little bit of aggro at each other as well. Anthony Albanese put the boot in a couple of times, says on the world stage he won't be leaking text messages, he'll build trust. He says that the Prime Minister wants to change his personality, when at the start of the campaign he said people knew who he was. There's still a bit of aggro late in this campaign, well and truly.
Well, they hate each other, and Albanese really went for him in his speech as well. But Scott Morrison was returning the favour today. I'll play you two grabs now. One is of him saying Albanese is presumptuous to think he might be winning an election and going to the Quad. And the other is he talks about, or he's asked about COVID deaths, and you know, they're rising in number into winter, you have to say. Scott Morrison's argument is it records, should I say, people dying with COVID, not from COVID. But he says here Albanese's about lockdowns. Have a listen to both of these.
What I do note from Mr Albanese is he does seem to be getting a bit ahead of himself. And, you know, Australians will make this decision, Anthony. You don't get to make it before the election. What you see when you have case numbers at that level is that people, when they pass away from many other causes, they will die with COVID. We're living with COVID. I'll tell you what we're not going back to. We're not going back to those daily press conferences of people talking about COVID every day and putting the threat of shutdowns and lockdowns and interfering in people's lives again. I'll tell you, that's not what I'm going to do if I'm re-elected on Saturday. I'm not going to drag Australia back into those times again. I've noticed that Anthony Albanese is keen to get back into that type of approach. That's not the approach I've taken.
Now, our colleague Andrea Clennell asked the Prime Minister a very strong question about the issue of real wage cuts, and the government has backed away from its strong criticism of Anthony Albanese over what was a slip-up last week. Many thought it worked in his favour anyway about the minimum wage, but Andrea did put him on the spot today, Andrew, with those new numbers out earlier in the day.
Well, they campaigned on the economy and national security before they got to the housing policy on Sunday. So the economy, so far they've had bad inflation figures, interest rates going up, and now not the ideal wages figure. On national security, they had China signing an agreement with the Solomon Islands. So it hasn't really worked out for the government, you'd have to say, and there's not much solace Scott Morrison could give here.
Are they going to keep up with inflation?
Inflation is the challenge when it comes to real wages. Rising wages will be driven by the forces that I've said. So that's why this election is so important. Well, the Reserve Bank says by the end of 23. That's what the Reserve Bank says. That's their most recent forecast, is by the end of 23.
So Australians will have to wait until then before their wages will stop going backwards?
Well, what I can tell you is it'll take even longer if you have policies, as the Labor Party propose.
Now, Andrew, we were critical of the Liberal Party ad, the hole in the bucket. It's like an earworm. It's not much chop in that sense. We're told it is effective by people in the campaign headquarters. We're reassured, look, it's our most effective ad. I think they've improved it, though, with a bit of... Someone's got in there and mixed it up a bit.
Yeah, look, in furious agreement with you again on this remix. It's a lot better. It's easier on the ear. And we like to finish with a bit of humour, so how about this? I mean, this is credit to Liberal Campaign HQ for mixing it up for the younger audience on social media, at least. I don't know if it'll take off as a hit.
It won't be easy under Albanese.
Sorry. I think it's 5 point. I'm not sure what it is.
So on the dance floors Saturday night after the election, maybe that'll be the new anthem. Andrew Clennell, thanks for that.